Hello, good morning, all of you. Today we discuss the controlled release drug delivery system or sustained release drug delivery system. The first point is fundamentals of controlled release drug delivery system. First of all, we discuss the limitation of conventional dosage form. First one, the poor patient compliance that increase the chance of missing the dose of a drug with short half-life for which the frequent administration is necessary. So the first limitation is poor patient compliance. Sometimes the patient miss the dose because in conventional 3 times a day or 2 times a day dose is required. So because of that the patient miss the dose. So that is the poor patient compliance. Second is a typical peak plasma wavy concentration time profile is obtained, which makes the attainment of steady state condition difficult. That means if we see in plasma concentration time profile, there is a two level, maximum effective concentration and minimum effective concentration. So here in a conventional drug delivery system, if we took 3 times a day or more dose in a day, then a typical peak wavy plasma concentration time profile is obtained. Third limitation is unavoidable fluctuation in drug concentration may lead to under the medication or over the medication as the CSS value falls or rise beyond the therapeutic range. CSS means concentration at steady state. So if we observe the concentration in therapeutic window, then there is the two boundary, minimum effective concentration and maximum effective concentration. But here the in conventional its drug delivery system, it's cross the boundary above the maximum level and below the minimum level. So you do not achieve a constant therapeutic concentration in therapeutic window. So that is the drawback of conventional drug delivery system. There are two ways to overcome such a situation. If we want to constant therapeutic concentration in therapeutic window, then there is the two way. First one, development of new, better and safe drug with long half-life and large therapeutic index, and effective and safe use of existing drug through concept and techniques of control and targeted drug delivery system. So we increase the half-life and large therapeutic index. So that is the first approach. And second approach is majority of this formulation are designed for oral. Second approach is effective and safe use of existing drug through concept and technique of control and targeted drug delivery system. The majority of this formulation are designed for the oral administration. However, recently such devices have been also introduced for parenteral, ocular and transdermal applications. Goal of controlled drug delivery system. The first one is to provide the extended duration of action. That means increase the half-life. Second is reduce the frequency of dosing. Instead of 3 times a day or 2 times a day, only one device or one unit is required for 24 hours. So to reduce the frequency of dosing, to localize the drug at the site of action, and next one is reduce the dose requirement. So if you consider the individual dose in sustained drug delivery system, it's also increased. But if you consider the total dose for the therapeutic treatment, then obviously we reduce the dose for the total dose required to cure the disease. Next one is provide uniform drug delivery. So here that is that if we use the targeted drug delivery system, then only it is give the action at the targeted site, right? And its concentration is remain constant in therapeutic window, right? So we obtain uniform drug distribution. Controlled release dosage form cover a wide range of prolonged action formulation which provide continuous release of their active ingredient at a predetermined rate and for a predetermined time. So that is only possible in case of controlled release drug delivery system. Already you are predict the time and rate. That is not possible in conventional drug delivery system. The ideal controlled release drug delivery system. So what are the characteristics in ideal controlled drug delivery system? An ideal dosage regimen in the drug therapy of any disease is the one which immediately attains the desired therapeutic concentration of drug in plasma and maintain its constant for the entire duration of treatment. Are the some definition: prolonged release or sustained release system which only prolong the therapeutic blood or tissue level of the drug for the extended period of time cannot be considered as a controlled release system. Here the sustained release and controlled release system both are a different approach. Sustained release drug delivery system follow first order rate of kinetics and controlled release follow zero order rate of kinetics. Drug targeting, on the other hand, can be considered as a form of controlled release in that it exercises spatial control of drug release within the body, is the one which delivers the drug only to its site of action, not to the non-targeted organ or tissue. Here the drug targeting drug delivery system is only give or release the drug to the target site, so the minimize the side effect in this system. Okay, since the rate controlling release and drug targeting represent totally separate delivery approach. So here the drug targeting and sustained release or controlled release both are the different thing. In order to maintain a constant drug level in either plasma or target tissue, release rate from the controlled release system should be equal to the elimination rate for plasma or targeted tissue, right? So here the how the zero order is maintained or how the drug excretion is expanded. So here the release rate from the controlled release system should be equal to elimination rate from the plasma or target tissue. So we expand the constant drug delivery system in therapeutic window. The most conventional method is to use the intravenous infusion. However, this would be inconvenient for the most therapeutic situation, so that other non-invasive routes such as the oral or transdermal route are preferred. So if we want to follow the zero order release rate kinetic in therapeutic window or the constant drug delivery system, the most convenient method is intravenous infusion. But it is not possible to maintain all the condition or situation for a long period of time to the patient. So the alternative route must be required. So we innovate in transdermal or any other route to maintain zero order drug delivery system or first order release rate kinetic, right? The chief objective of the most product should be controlled delivery to reduce the dosing frequency to an extent that once daily dose is sufficient for therapeutic management to a uniform plasma concentration at steady state, right? So our most important aim is to manage the therapeutic concentration throughout a uniform plasma concentration at a steady state therapeutic window. Here, if you compare the conventional drug delivery system, sustained drug delivery system and controlled drug delivery system, so here the peak plasma wavy which are you observe is the conventional drug delivery system. So within a 24 hours this 4 times that cross the maximum boundary level and 4 times they are under the minimum concentration range. So that is happening in conventional drug delivery system. If this curve, bell shaped curve, is the sustained release drug delivery system, and that is initially inclined concentration and steady state concentration. These are the zero order drug delivery system. So here the zero order drug delivery system, the concentration is pre-predictable. The rate and concentration is pre-predictable, right? So these are the difference in sustained release drug delivery system and controlled release drug delivery system. A fourth one advantage is employ less total dose. As we discussed, the individual dose is increased. But if you compare with the total dose, so obviously that is less in case of sustained release or controlled release drug delivery system as compared to conventional drug delivery system, that is minimize or eliminate the local or systemic side effect and minimize the drug accumulation with the chronic dosing, right? Obviously we patient obtain a less drug for the curing of disease, so obviously less side effect and less accumulate the drug in a body. The fifth one is viability of certain drug can be increased. How it's increased? So for drug unstable in a solution form, sustained drug delivery system contain a drug in the solid state, it is released from the system. So if the drug is unstable in suitable environment, then it is converted into the suitable dosage form, right? If the drug is not stable in acidic media, then that device is coated with the particular polymer to remain intact in acidic media. So that is the we improve the viability of that particular drug. For drug undergoing the enzymatic degradation, inactivity can be protected by encapsulation in polymer sustained for sustained release. So here if the drug is undergo enzymatic degradation, then it is coated with the particular polymer. Sixth one is increase the safety margin for the potent drug due to the better control of plasma level. So increase the safety margin of the potent drug, right? So here in potent drug, if we maintain the constant concentration through in therapeutic window, then it is best, it is safe for patient. Next advantage is reduction in the health care cost to improve therapeutic therapy, shorter treatment period, less frequency of dosing, and reduction in personal time to dispense, administer, and monitor patient. So here if you compare with the conventional drug delivery system as compared to that, the healthcare cost is decreased in case of sustained or controlled drug delivery system, right? Okay, we discussed the disadvantage in sustained drug delivery system. The first one is flexibility in adjustment of dose regimen is limited as compared to conventional drug delivery system. We are not break down the device in case of control or sustained drug delivery system, right? So in case of conventional, we break down these tablets in converted into the two dose by breaking the tablet with the given line, specified line in case of tablet. So that is not possible in case of sustained drug delivery system. We are not cross this doses form. So that is flexibility in dose adjustment is not done in controlled drug delivery system. Control release form are designed for normal population on the basis of average drug biological half-life. But what is happening in case of disease, hepatic failure patient or kidney failure patient? So the drug release pattern are calculated on the basis of normal population, but that is altered in case of kidney failure or hepatic failure, right? So these are the drawback. Third disadvantage is economic factor must be also assessed. since more costly process and equipment are involved in manufacturing of many controlled release dosage form. That is requiring special coating in pellet on coating on pellet. They require a special equipment, right? So obviously, if we use the sophisticated equipment for the coating, the cost of that product is increased. Increase the potential for first pass metabolism. Increase potential for first pass metabolism. So here in first pass metabolism, as the in case of oral drug delivery system, as the drug is released out from the device, it goes into the liver. So in the liver, the enzyme are present. So it's destroy the drug. So there is no saturation point or occur in case of first pass metabolism. So totally the drug are destroyed in liver, right? So that is the problem in sustained drug delivery system. Removal of drug is difficult in case of toxicity, poisoning, hypersensitive reaction. The administration of sustained release medication does not permit the prompt termination of therapy. So that is the drawback. In case of transdermal, we are stop the drug delivery system immediately after allergic reaction is occur. In case of conventional drug delivery system, in the most of the drug give the action up to the 3 hours. So after the 3 hours, it is possible to stop the therapy. But in sustained release drug delivery system or controlled release drug delivery system, it is up to the 24 hours. So we are not remove the drug in case of allergic reaction, right? So the prompt termination is not possible in case of sustained release or controlled release drug delivery system. Next one is increase the variability among dosage units. Certain sustained release pellets containing the capsule may slow enhance content variability problem. Release pattern may be more variable than corresponding immediate release system. So here the dose dumping is also the one major problem in case of pellets. If the pellets that is coated with the sustained release polymer, if that is not proper, then the content variability problem is occur in case of pellets containing capsule. So the variability is high. That is the drawback in sustained release drug delivery system. The next one disadvantage is need for additional patient education. The patient may need the additional information regarding the proper use of sustained release system. So when a pharmacist prescribe a medicine to the patient, the extra counseling is required by pharmacist. How to take this medicine, that information is provided by pharmacist to the patient, because if the patient they break down the device or break down the tablets, crush the tablets, then that is lost the therapeutic effect. So during the prescription of sustained release drug delivery system or controlled release drug delivery system, the additional counseling is required. Okay, 10th, disadvantage is not all the drugs are suitable for the formulation as prolonged action medication. Here are some characteristic and drugs are given. In case of that, we are not prepared the sustained release drug delivery system. No absorption from the lower intestine. No absorption from the lower intestine. For example, riboflavin and ferrous salt. So here that riboflavin are not absorbed from the lower part of the intestine. So do not prepare the matrix tablet or do not prepare the any dosage form which is absorbed at the lower part of the intestine, right? So we are use the another alternative way in case of that type of drug. The half-life is less than 1 hour. For example, the penicillin and furosemide, which have a half-life less than 1 hour, means the very short half-life, then dose required is very high. So you are not prepared the sustained drug delivery system, because if we take a more dose for the preparing a one sustained device, then it is difficult to swallow by the patient. If the half-life is less than 12 hours, for example diazepam and phenytoin, so here the half-life is 12 hours, means 24 hours the drug is released in the body. So here it is already sustained drug delivery system. So no need to convert that drug into the sustained, because it is already sustained drug delivery system. The dose required greater than 1 grams, for example sulfonamide, then do not prepare sustained release drug delivery system, because here if the in case of conventional tablets the drug dose is greater than 1 gram, and if you convert into the sustained, then dose is approximately 1.5 to 1.7 grams. So it is difficult to swallow by the patient, because that is the only weight of drug. Then what about the other excipient? So if we consider the dose of particular tablets by greater than 1 grams of drug, then it is about 2 gram or 2.5 grams tablet size or device. So it is difficult for the patient to swallow. No advantage of no advantage of SRF, that is griseofulvin is the example. So that griseofulvin is already a sustained release system, so do not convert into the sustained drug delivery system. Here the 11, that is disadvantage is very insoluble drug whose availability is controlled by the dissolution. For example, griseofulvin may not be benefit from the formulation of sustained release formulation, because the griseofulvin is already released slowly. Drug dissolution is very slow, so it is already sustained drug delivery system. So no need to convert into the sustained release drug delivery system. The 12th is, before producing with this design of SRF of an appropriate drug, the formulator should have to know the pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic of the drug that must be correlate with the drug blood level. So the pharmacist or the person which have sufficient knowledge regarding to the pharmacokinetic and dynamic is only prepare this medicine.